answer your questions. And this week's question, how to stop the inner critic and sabotaging of personal progress. Firstly, we must understand what the purpose is of your self-saboteur. So there's a purpose for your self-saboteur, but you have to befriend that side of you. Now that sounds counterintuitive because it's a part of you that you don't want. However, the challenge is it's a part of you that is dominating in your presence and it's sabotaging the future that you want for yourself. So in the first instance, you need to get to understand that part of you. And one of the ways we begin to do that is to build a relationship with the voice that speaks to you. Now, often in therapy, you will have to articulate that to a therapist, right? So then you have to put it into words and so on and so forth. But often when we're in our own heads, that voice can go 100 miles an hour and it's never scrutinized. So this would be helpful. This is one tactic to help you become much more self-aware, is to begin to listen to the voice, listen to what that part of you says. But also, I was listening to a doctor recently, and he just has a beautiful way of asking himself questions like, is this good for my brain? So sometimes it can be important to just ask yourself direct, if I make this choice, will this take me in the direction of what I want for myself, or will it take me away? Now, this is especially important because your self-saboteur could result in you not completing your dissertation. So there's a big goal here. But one of the things that is also important for you to recognize is this a normal pattern for you? Do you do this time and time again when it comes to leveling up? What is the story that you tell yourself? You need access to that story. Now, if you have a therapist or a coach, that's something that you can articulate to them. For some reason, I'm assuming you're training to be a therapist. So the challenge we can have as therapists is we can understand it here. We understand it in our heads. We can write about it. But the application into your life may well be the true challenge. You should have supervision. You should have peer support if you are training as a therapist, which is an assumption. That should be a safe space to talk that through. But it's one of the benefits of having, your own therapist, because your own inner critic and saboteur is functioning in other aspects of your life. And actually, bizarrely, this can be about our fear of success. What will it actually mean for you if you level up and achieve the thing that you've been wanting all your life? That is to pay attention. But what I would be really interested to know, for example, if you're not doing your dissertation, I want to understand what is the other behavior that you're doing. So I want to understand the avoidance, because there's a benefit to avoidance. Avoidance isn't just all bad. Avoidance is about us playing it safe. So we need to understand what are the benefits of playing it safe for you. So you need to think of, I'm always encouraging people to come at their problems from a very different angle. Let's not condemn the self-sabotaging behaviors, because your inner critic is also your friend. Your inner critic is trying to keep you safe, but it's not helpful. Often that voice has come from yesteryear. And whilst it may have been beneficial to us back then, it is sabotaging us in the now. It is preventing us from moving up and on with our lives. So we befriend it so we can begin to understand what we say to ourselves. But through our behaviors, we counteract that. One of the benefits of having a community of people around you is you have accountability. As someone who's self-employed, it's one of the biggest challenges I personally face. When, you don't have a team that you walk into, you have to create on your own, which is a benefit of me having a coach, someone to talk to, someone to bounce ideas off. Otherwise, you're just left to your own devices. Self-saboteurs work in the same way. Often, if it's just you in your head with your critical voice and you've got no one to counteract that, no one to challenge you, it can be one of the spirals that lead you down. So there's probably other self-sabotaging behaviors to watch out for. That might be, eating, drinking, exercising, that actually you may start to plummet. Really important to pay attention to. So what you said, you will sit at the computer, procrastinate, and do anything to avoid engaging with the work that will support you. Another thing I'm a big fan of, and they talk about this in the book, Why Willpower Doesn't Work. You also need to work out if you're in an environment that is conducive to the ends that you're trying to achieve. So for example, if you go to do your dissertation and you're at home, may not be best for you. You also have to learn to manage your devices. One of my other clients is doing a degree at the moment and has just signed up for Netflix. Not great for your greatness. And it's on his phone. Not great for your greatness. Like, have it on your house device so that only when you go home you access that information. When we're leveling up, the inner saboteur is going to want us to stay in our comfort zone, which is where we can't grow. So we have to be very conscious and strategize, hack yourself. So one of the things I do, like, I'm not great at doing emails, but I go to a specific location where I do my emails. I want to say big up to Beaconsfield service station. I love going there. I sit upstairs and I blitz my emails. But if I was going to do that task at home, it just won't happen. So what I'm encouraging you to think about is sometimes, and it may not make sense for you to travel to university, but it may actually be better for you to take yourself there, because that environment is much more likely to stimulate you to achieve the thing that you want to achieve. Like I said before, one of the shortcomings of the self-help movement is the illusion that we can do everything by ourselves, that we can strategize against ourselves, that we can get this app to strategize. Humans are very complex beings. And one of the biggest benefits of changing your environments, because we are social beings, different environments can stimulate you in different ways. So my encouragement to you, if your inner saboteur is sabotaging you, that's okay. That's a beautiful sign that you're leveling up. The challenge you have is, how do you strategize against that part of you? Your inner saboteur comes from your shadow side. So if you're familiar with the works of Jung, so this is the shadow side, and we all have a shadow. Ultimately, it is trying to protect you from something, but that coping strategy is no longer helpful to you. My encouragement to you would actually to get specific professional help to assist you. You may need a coach, you may need a therapist, you may need someone to give you some accountability. So every week you check in with an update on your progress. Do not be under the illusion that you can do it all alone. That's a myth. I wouldn't be standing here today if I didn't reach out and get professional help to assist me. What is fundamental is your inner saboteur can do what it wants. What is key is the actions you take to strategize against it. I hope this video has been of benefit to you. If you have any more questions, feel free to inbox me or join the newsletter list where I take all the questions from my subscribers. Do take care of you, because if you don't, who will?